Hi everyone, Jackson here. Welcome back to the daily endeavors for the 8th of February. So timecodes will be in the description for fast tracking to any of these endeavors here, but I'm just going to go through the golden vendor first if anyone wanted to know about that. Right, so don't think there's anything worth buying today, but I will still go through this stuff. So we've got Shoulders, we've got Stonekeeper, and we've got Archsteward Devyrik. Devyrik is a very strong set, gives you major vulnerability for 7 seconds whenever you heavily attack something. Major vulnerability being one of the best buffs in the game. Now, I wouldn't use this in solo play, but in group play to support your team with one of the best debuffs in the game on bosses, really fucking strong. Mixing this with a set called Turning Tide, if you've got the DLC for Shipwright's Regret, these two together, you can block, apply this, and when this runs out, you can then heavy attack with Archsteward Devyrik, and basically keep major vulnerability on full, like 100% uptime all the time on basically a single or small group of enemies. So really good combination. I'm not 100% sure if this is meta, but it's definitely one of the better performers for support sets in the game. Really good set, but it's the shoulder, so you can still, even if you don't have the DLC, you can still get this set from the shoulder keys. So I don't really recommend buying this for 100,000 gold. And then we've got Stonekeeper. Now, this set has been nerfed quite significantly from when it came out. I'm pretty sure when it first came out, this thing gave you like 5,000 resources instead of like 2,300 and 2,500. It was absolutely fucking ridiculous, and it was like easily the best like selfish defensive set in the game. Maybe not for damage dealers and maybe not for healers in group play, but tanking especially, it was just ridiculous. I'm pretty sure they nerfed it to oblivion, and it's okay now. If you want to be really selfish as a tank, you can run this because it basically gives you the same sort of regen as using like a one-piece. What are they called? Magma Incarnate or the Baron Thirsk. So these two sets that give you a one-piece stamina and magic recovery, it gives you the same thing, but the difference is that this can be used while you're blocking, and what's the word? Incentivizes you to block, which is interesting because there really aren't many sets that really incentivize you to block like this one. Now, obviously, 14-second cooldown is quite brutal, but this is a pretty damn good set for keeping your resources up, especially when it comes to tanking a lot of shit. You lose a lot of stamina, so that can really help. Like this can basically, you run this right with a DK, you can it's very difficult to run out of magicka and stamina with this. But yeah, again, shoulders, and I know not a lot of you kind of get witch hunted for running selfish in like group play. It's kind of weird, but yeah, really good set. Really good set. This one again, shoulders though, so just buy it with keys, I'd say. Right, so we've got Briarheart. Now this is a big blast from the past. This is basically Burning Spellweave as a sort of like a stamina set, or a stamina medium armor set. Back in the day, this only gave you weapon damage when it came out. It's been hybridized, and it's a decent set. Pretty damn good in solo play, where the little 200 health for a critical strike doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're using 7 or 8 different damage over time and single target abilities, not single target, direct damage abilities over the course of like 1 to 2 seconds, every little thing critting like that can be quite significant. But obviously crits are a chance thing, though when you have high crits, it's not really that much the case. Yeah, pretty damn good set. Wouldn't buy this for 125,000 gold though. It's an old set. There's tons of stuff out there available to buy, and people do go through Orsinium and do all that stuff still to this day, and still unlock the stuff. The only thing is, the only way to get Briarheart jewelry is to either get through chests or from coffers, and sometimes the coffers only the the trait that you can get on Briarheart is actually, it's interesting. You can get all 3 types. You can get Robust, Healthy, and Arcane with Briarheart. It's kind of interesting. They don't do that a lot with new sets these days, but you can. And if you just want to if you want a guaranteed Robust Briarheart piece to not have to deal with that bullshit, you can do this. But I guarantee you can find some on guild stores for quite cheap, and you can just upgrade them to gold that way. So I'm not, and the set's quite. I think the set's a little bit outdated nowadays compared to some of the other crazy proc sets out there. But yeah, it's not a terrible set. But again, I wouldn't buy this for 120,000 gold. All right, so next up we've got Jolting. So this is quite an interesting set that kind of had its day in the sun for about 1 minute. In one patch like a little while ago. So when you block, increase your physical and spell resistance by a ton for 6 seconds. This is a unique buff, so it stacks with everything else. And then when you bash, you deal an additional 3,000 damage, which is something not worth laughing at. The only problem is when it comes to dealing tons of damage quickly, like, because I feel like this is a burst set, right, for PvP, but one, it's full of defensive stats for the 2 to 4 piece, which isn't terrible, but every 6 seconds, and bashing, it incentivizes using a sword and shield, and the sword and shield is like the least offensive like weapon type in the game, maybe minus restoration staff. So it's like that's kind of all the bursts you have with sword and shield, and there's just going to be much better sets for pretty much anything you want to do. The only thing is, I assume that it works with the one hand and shield power bash ability. I would assume, yeah, ability's damage is considered bash damage, so you could use it with that. But I just feel like there's just going to be way better sets out there for basically anything you want to do. This is it's Temper Silence, old DLC. It's an old base game dungeon, so. It is old. But when I said 1 minute in the shade, there was like a little bit of time where bash builds were like you could basically just spam bash and do shit tons of damage in like very specific circumstances, and this set was like really good for that. If you could get the procs just right. But yeah, that was nerfed to the ground, and then this set's just been forgotten ever since. So yeah, wouldn't really recommend this for anything personally. Sorry to say. Because it's a fascinating set, and it would be very entertaining to watch it. And getting really high bash damage is on players would be fun to watch, but yeah, just not something I'd personally, especially for 200,000 gold, I would not buy that. Ring of the Order and Diagna. Minor Vitality is a very easy thing to get on like most classes. For example, Nightblades, we have it on a skill, Healthy Offering. You get Minor Mending for 10 seconds every time you use it. So a lot of classes will actually get this buff, and the buff isn't all that. I don't think it's worth getting on a 5-piece set, even though it does increase your healing taken by a lot. And it's even if you do want this, 125,000 gold for the gold jewelry, when in Alkid Desert, the place where everybody goes for the dolmens, which you get jewelry from, you will probably see a ton of these on guild stores everywhere. So yeah, I would just recommend just buying it there, because it'd be so cheap to buy on there. Tormentor. So this one is from Banished Souls. Probably one of the funniest things about this set, and probably the most interesting thing about this set, I think, is the item you get for completing the Banished Souls 1 quest. You get an item called the Blessing of the Keepers of the Tormentor. So, because originally it was called Blessing of the Keepers, but then they started naming them after all the sets that they drop in. So yeah, it's a Tormentor helm called Blessing of the Keepers of the Tormentor. Yeah, it's quite funny. But yeah, this is a cool set. What it does is allows. So I think the pull ability bit should be removed now, because pulls actually do this by default. If I go to Silver Leash, yeah. So taunting them for 15 seconds if they're not already taunted. So this is a pull that's already a taunt. So that bit's kind of outdated nowadays. But everything else, the main reason you would want to use this, because there's so many other taunts that are just easier to use. Like, using an entire 5-piece just to taunt is awful and something I would never ever recommend doing. But the only reason you would absolutely possibly want to do this is either you're a werewolf in PvE that you want to tank with, so you can use the werewolf lunge, like the gap close ability, to taunt, or you just want the heal for the damage done, which is weird because I mean I guess if you want to use something like glad I'm on Night Blade for this, like Lotus Fan, you can do a ton of damage to enemies around you quickly and heal for all that damage, and you know there doesn't seem to be a cooldown on it, does there? So yeah, so there's a cooldown on that. If that works on every target hit by something like Lotus Fan, you could heal for a shit ton every second basically using this, but I haven't tested it, so yeah, I don't know if that's the case or not. But even then, I wouldn't really use this set. Wasting an entire 5-piece just to be able to taunt shit when you could just get, you know, a skill, even a skill that every single class can use. It doesn't have a minimum range. Like you can still use it at point blank. I wouldn't. I think it's really low value getting a set like that, and I think it is incredibly low value paying 200,000 gold for something like that. So yeah, I would not recommend this set myself. All right, so that's golden done. Man, that's fucking 15 minutes. Jesus Christ, I talk a lot of shit. Alright, let's go. Okay, so getting through the endeavours now. We've got a 10 seal set, deconstructing 10 items at woodworking, got laundering items, got void creatures, we've got enemies with weapon poisons, and we've got damage with siege weapons. So, it's an okay set. Personally, if I were you, I would do these 3 here. I wouldn't even bother with this one. This one requires DLC. It either requires mostly Markarth DLC. You can also do this if you have the Necrom DLC by going to Apocrypha, and I'll show you how to do that. Alright. We'll start with the more straightforward options. We've got 10 items at a let me start that again. We've got 10 items at a woodworking table endeavor. So the quick, straightforward way is to use a bunch of maple to craft 10 maple bows or maple staves. Requires 3 center maple each, so you need 30. So you just build 10 of those and then just deconstruct them immediately. It doesn't take very long, but it does require a little bit of maple. Now, if you don't have any maple to use, there is still a decently quick way that doesn't cost any resources. I'll show you how. So you can do this in other places, but what I would suggest is using Oridon, because there's a couple of easy places to get woodworking items that it's a little bit difficult to get spotted if you really don't want to get a bounty. Right, so I suggest you start in the crystal vial, go upstairs, and there's a set of staves on this weapon rack here. So when this person's turned around, steal these staves. There won't always be 3 staves. There won't always be these items in these places, but don't worry, that's normal. Some things just don't spawn for some reason. Next up, we're up to Bright Steel Armory. Go inside. Now there's 4 things you're looking for, or 5 things, sorry. Got a bow to the left, bow to the right, bow on this weapon rack, and then 2 bows on this this desk here. The only issue is these people here. You got the Wood Elf and the High Elf. You got to make sure they're not looking at you when you're trying to steal this stuff. So what you can do here is you can hide here when these guys are around. If I just... Oh, God damn it. Right, so go behind here. Just sit nestled right here at this pedestal here, and then you can steal that one. And if you point right there, you can actually steal the other bow too. And when this guy's over here, you can go into this corner and not be seen, and you can just grab this bow. If he is in that corner, you can still hide it in this corner just here. But if he comes over here, you just have to be a bit careful and go behind him. So we'll get that bow there. And then we've just got this bow here, so just be a bit patient. I might be able to... Oh, we'll see where he goes here. Oh yeah, he's gone over there. Cool. So when he goes over here, you can grab this bow. Usually you can not get spotted by that guy. Just be a bit careful. Alright, so we've got 5 items in total. Again, some of those items might not be there. Don't worry if they aren't. Now we're going to the Fighters Guild. There's a bow on that table there, but I don't recommend getting it because there's people watching all the time there. It's like impossible getting into stealth there, even with medium armor patches to reduce your detection radius. Which I should point out, if you have medium armor on, get this passive here, reduces your it makes it so you can get closer to people without getting spotted. Alright, so here we're grabbing this shield here. Wow, whoops. I was not hidden there, and I still managed to do that. That was cool. Right, so there's another shield here. Just be a bit careful. Now, if that is not enough woodworking items, if you got like a really shit roll of this place, you can just leave the zone and then come back, and everything will reset. Or what you can do is, if you're level 10, you can go Imperial City, queue for that. Just wait for it to let you join. Oh god, excuse me. Alright, so when you get in here, you'll see a couple of bows that you can steal from these weapon racks here. Oh no, you don't even steal them. They're taken. So in here it's even better actually, because these things aren't actually stolen. They're just picked up. So there's a shield there you can grab. There's another weapon rack here somewhere with some staves. Yeah, so there you go. So just look around. You'll find another couple of things around here. You won't find 10 things in here, I believe. But if you're lacking a couple more things, you can usually find them in here. So go back to the woodworking station, go deconstruct, and just go nuts with all this stuff that you've found. And yeah, easy as that. Now you can find the exit here. It's like that circular icon, and that will take you back out to where you were before. Alright, so next we've got laundering items at fences. This one's also relatively straightforward. My suggestion for this is you could just do what you did before with the woodworking items. Just go to Vocal Guard and just steal weapons in Bright Steel Armory or Crystal Vire or wherever, and just launder those and then sell them at a merchant to get the money back. You could also go to Necrom and do the Necrom underway like urn strategy that you've probably seen to death enough times. That place is the easiest to use because there's like a hallway full of urns that there's no guards, no NPCs to stop you, so you can just easily get stuff. But if you don't have Necrom, there's a base game way that's basically the same thing. It's just slightly slower, that's all. So what you want to do is come to Craglawn. Easiest way to get here is to use the home tours. Type in any of the Craglawn houses. Probably the closest thing to Markarth to get to is Elenir Private Arena, this one here. And yeah, you won't find any in recommended, but if you go browse homes, Elenir Private Arena, yeah, you'll find a bunch. So just enter this house, any of these, and then leave the front door. You'll get taken out into here, basically right here, and you can just go straight to Markarth from there. As soon as you enter Craglawn though, from any house in this place, you'll get this way shrine by default, so you can just travel here at any time now, so it's really good. So what you want to do is come to Gem and Flask, go upstairs, and then in this area here, you got all this stuff here on the bench, and then you got this stuff here in the things. So there's nobody up here, so you can just take this stuff at will, and just go nuts and launder all this stuff. Now if you don't have enough, you can just get the stuff there as well. You come outside, go over here, you jump down. There's more stuff outside if you want it, if there's not enough stuff to grab. And we go into the Outlaws Refuge, which is right here. That's why I like using this place. And there's no guards on the way. There is a guard standing next to it sometimes, but if you go in quick, you usually won't be seen if you've got a bounty. So what you do is now we come to the fences. The closest fence is this one right here. You just come down here and they're right here. And make sure when you go through here, you press Launder. Go to this tab here and just launder this stuff here, and you're done. And then if you want to get your gold back, you go to the merchant who's over here. This one here, Grezubisha. And just go to, it'll all be in provisioning, basically. And just go and sell that stuff. And so you'll get your gold back and you're good to go. Dealing damage with siege weapons. Ignore the tooltip. You don't have to attack players' guards or keeps. You can just attack anything that can be damaged in Cyrodiil and it'll count. So my advice to this is don't even bother attacking anything related to objectives. Attack the Shivering Shrines which are found inside your scroll walls. So if these gates are closed, players can't get in here and just like stop you from doing it. So there's one here for Ebonheart, for Daggerfall there's one here, and then for Aldmeri Dominion there is one right here. So you can find them all in these locations. They have the same thing. They've just got 3 Golden Saints in these locations that you can shoot with Siege, and it counts. So what you need first, obviously, is just a Siege weapon. 1 Firebolt Ballista is all you need. So you can buy that for 750 gold. You can also buy them with guild stores for much cheaper. If you can find the time just to spend trying to get one of these for like 30 gold, that'd be so good. Because doing this in a couple of minutes with 30 gold is like really good. Because remember, it's only 10 seals. It's fuck all value, really. So once you got your iron, just go and start heading out to those locations. So in Ebonheart Pact, it's relatively close to the area you go to test siege weapons, which I should point out, those areas, that the testing grounds for siege weapons, where you get all the siege weapons lined up, most of those do actually count. The ballistas do actually deal damage. It's very insignificant though. It's like tiny amount of damage. It will take you like an hour to get this done through that. The only thing that doesn't actually count, which sucks, because to be the only thing that'd be worth using, is the Scattershock Catapult. That doesn't actually count for this, which is fucking weird, because that one does like tons of damage like across a massive area, and it actually, if that counted, you could actually do it relatively easily from those locations. But they don't, so yeah, fucking shitties lost at it again. So once you've made your way to the Shivering Shrine, so the Ebonheart Pact is an easy one because I can just set up here, and usually this is an okay space, and all I do now is just shoot. Now there's one thing to keep in mind when shooting these Golden Saints. So as you can see, I hit one and we're already over halfway. So if you manage to hit 2 of these guys at once, you've completed the endeavor. Like, that's it. The only issue I have with this one, and the reason I haven't the reason I haven't opened fire again, is if you kill them, they take a little while to respawn. So if other players want to do this shit, it just means that they're going to have to wait a little while. And you know, I don't want to cause other people not to be able to do this. So I'd rather take that extra minute just shooting another one. Sometimes you can shoot all 3 at once, and it will instantly get this one done. So you just have to be a bit lucky in that case. But now all I do is run away, and like you saw before, they'll just reset when you get far enough away. That's why I like that spot, because usually they will reset by that point, and they'll just go back. And they reset their health bar. That's why I do that, because they can just reset and be attacked again. And it doesn't inconvenience any other players if I do it that way. But if you really don't give a shit about your alliance, then yeah, whatever, just do it, I suppose. Alright, so now I'll talk quickly about void creatures. There are 2 locations, well, maybe 3. You can find them in Infinite Archive and base game, but the odds of you finding that over any of the other enemies in these places is like so low that I really wouldn't recommend using that, as like relying on it. The only real 2 reliable ways that I think you can find a bunch of shades. Firstly, the main way is if you have the Markarth DLC, you go into the Arksand Cavern, and they will be here. They'll be in this like courtyard area here. There'll be tons of void creatures that you can attack and kill. Apart from that, there's not really much else in this place that you can find that are void creatures. In maybe a couple of other places, but that's the main place that you'll find most of them. The only other location that I know of that has a bunch is the Silent Halls, the Disquiet Study in the Silent Halls. It's completely the opposite thing. This delve here, so I'll show you how to get to that. So, because you don't have a way shrine and Apocrypha at first. So you come here to Necrom City, go through here into this area here with the door here, the Necrom Bindery. And in here there'll be 2 doorways, so you want this one here, the green one. Okay, so you'll go to the the southeastern side of the place of Apocrypha, and the delve that you need is just here. So it is a little bit of a trek. So you can get the quest if you want to do that, but you don't have to. So go inside. Now there's not a lot of void creatures in here, but you can find a few. So we'll go through. This passage to the left, just be careful of this, because that will spawn enemies. They don't count as void creatures, I'm pretty sure. But when you go through here, you'll get this dude here, and then you'll see these like little things here. That is a good indication that there are void creatures here. So there's one here. So those creatures there, the shades, they're the void creatures that you're looking for. And yeah, you can see there's a couple of them. There's not a lot of void creatures here, but yeah, this is another way that you can find some. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure if you go through that doorway, there's not any more. Let me just double check though. Just checking. Oh, there are. Okay, that's good. So you got another shade creature there. Does this damage you going through it? Oh, it does too. Oh wow, it fucking wrecks you. Holy shit. I guess I'm a vampire too. Yeah, right, so there's more shade creatures this way. Okay, that's good. So you can use this place quite effectively. There's more shades here. There's a shade colossus. I'm pretty sure these also count. So yeah, just keep running through. You'll find some shades through here. These things here don't count. The verminous things, they're like robots. Let's double check if there's anything over here. Nah. I think that's it as far as shades go. So yeah, just through here is where you find your shades. You'll definitely find way more in the Markarth area, but you know, Markarth is its own separate DLC. It's a $20 extra piece of content that you need to buy. So yeah, I know not everyone's got access to that. It is worth getting, I think, because you get Ring of the Pale Order, which is a really, really good mythic. But yeah, it's that's up to you. It's not mandatory. But that mythic, boy, does that mythic fucking help in a lot of content. Alright, so last one, we'll talk about enemies with weapon poisons. This one will also be a little bit slower, that's why I suggest it last. So firstly, we need some poisons. I'll go through those. There are two ways to get a bunch of poisons. Best way, I think, is to use the crown lethal poisons that you get fucking en masse from these daily rewards. So just get a bunch of these. You might already have some if you've been doing them. If not, don't worry too much. There is another way to get them. Just talk to any alchemist in the game. Every major town has one. You go to the buy tab and you'll see a bunch of poisons here that you can use. So the only thing to keep in mind is I think these ones here don't work too well on target skeletons, which is one of my main things I use for doing this. But yeah, these ones here are usually fine. So I usually just buy these ones, though these ones are a little bit cheaper usually. Especially if you get the max level ones, you can buy tons of these things on guild stores for fucking so cheap. So yeah, it's usually good. Yeah, just buy the cheapest one you can buy. Just buy 10 and then just go at that route. But the crown lethal poisons can be used at any level as well, so keep that in mind. Alright, so once you got your poisons ready, you just want to equip them, put them on your bar. Now, there is one thing worth noting. At the bottom, you can see I have a little poison tracker there. There's an add-on you can get. It's broken to start with, and it doesn't work well on like other poison types, unless they're like high-level ones. But you've got poison tracker. So this add-on, there's like a comment on that add-on's ESO UI page that explains how to get it working properly, and this thing actually does work. And the reason I use it is naturally. So poisons have a 10-second global cooldown, and if you just use the use poisons as is, you can't really check when it's going to be off cooldown, so you don't know when to start trying to apply it again, which is kind of the main thing you're waiting for with this whole poisons thing. But this add-on helps you track that, so it can be really helpful. Alright, so now we need to find something to use to proc your poisons. You can use a public dungeon, you can use group dungeons, you can use lots of enemies in like places like Craglorn. The options are quite endless. My personal preference, if you can find one, try and find a guild hall that has a ton of target skeletons in like a small clump. Because the way this works is it procs 20% chance on your light, heavy attacks, and your weapon abilities. And the weapon abilities are the only thing you can really spam a big AoE skill on and proc it, like, because each little hit from AoE abilities can apply poisons. So it's a way to like get a ton of enemies 20% chance to apply it. So using something like a public dungeon to do that is very valuable, I think. It just shortens the amount of time it's going to take you to do it. Because half of the fucking time it's going to take you just to do this thing is waiting for it to apply on like your light and heavy attacks. Sometimes it can take a while. So just hitting a large bunch of enemies at once and just basically guaranteeing a poison fire off every time will just shorten the amount of time it takes. Because this thing, it's easy, but it takes a while. That's the only real annoying thing about this endeavor. So cutting down that time taken can be really helpful. Oh god, get off the thing. And hit it like that, and as you can hear from the fire off, it's applied. So now you can either kill these things or try and wait for the cooldown to go down, and then see if your ability can fire off again. So that's 2 so far. Whereas, like, if you just try and light attack, all those light attacks didn't fire off once. So it can take a lot longer if you're trying to get it. Yeah, so there's one. But it just can take a while sometimes. So yeah, just alleviating that by just waiting for the poison to go down. Now it's done. Do that, and you get 4 chances to apply it each second instead of 1. So it's just really good. And try and keep them alive so that the poison can fire off more. And yeah, they're already dead. So, but yeah, there's lots of enemies around. You get these wisps. These things are a lot more tanky. So these things can survive longer. They also do more damage though. So just make sure you've got a heal at least. Yeah, most people should be fine, but this character's got no champion points, so I can't take any chances. And just keep running them through your weapon ability. Just to heal a bit as well. And then once their health is spent, just kill them. And then work on another group. And yeah, eventually you'll get your poison stun. It's as I said, it's relatively easy to do, but it's just a bit of annoying RNG in the way, and just like it does take a little bit of time. So yeah, just keep doing that, and you'll get this one done as well. Right, so that's Daily's concluded. Thanks everyone for watching. If you've got any questions for me, as always, just let me know. Discord popping off there. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I'll see you next time, and take care.